My name's Pat, I'm an addict. It's really nice to be here today. It's the first time I've been to this meeting. It's always good to get out and about and attend other meetings, although I probably know 90% of people in the room. It's great to be here. And, the steps leading up to step 11, because obviously we have to do those steps before we get to step 11. And I think that step 11 is about the exploration of spirituality. However, I don't think we can really do that to our fullest until we've completed the other steps, and that the other steps really are about dealing with it was for me. I'm only talking for me. So about dealing with my past, about trying to get rid of some of the baggage that we've carried for so long, about the hurt that we've caused and the hurt that we've done to ourselves. And it's generally up to step 9. That is what we are doing. And in step 2 we're introduced to a higher power, a God of our understanding, at least the concept that there is a power greater than ourselves. I think you need that. You need them first 3 steps and you need every step to get through the next steps, because it's hot. We're not just trying to live our lives every day. We're trying to live our lives every day without the use of a drink or a drug. And that's not most people, normal people, whatever you want to call them. They've struggled to do that themselves. So we have to find a way of living that is acceptable to us. And through the steps of Narcotics Anonymous, the Fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous, through practicing these steps, having a sponsor, doing everything that's been suggested, I've managed to be clean since 1999.
Good, Pat.
And
I'm Pat.
And that is not a lot to do with me. That was a lot to do with the disease of addiction, having me on the floor, beating me to I didn't want to really be here. I didn't know how to live. It took all my self-respect and everything I dreamed of having in my life. Addiction took from me. So I was ready for these steps. I was ready for another way of life, And I tried to do what was suggested. I really didn't want to pick up. I really, really didn't. And I had no concept of a God. I know some people come in and they've had bad experiences with religion, or they've come in and they blame God for their position. I never really. I did know it was I thought it was all my fault. I thought I'd got myself into it, and I didn't know why I couldn't get out of it when I wanted to. I had no idea. I knew I was an addict at the end, but I didn't know that that addiction was a disease. I just thought it was a result of my choices and the things I'd done through my life. I think when you first come in and there's the word God, I think very early on I understood that it was a spiritual program. It says in our readings right from the start, this is a spiritual, not religious program. And I think that's, if you open your ears and you hear that. And I haven't really ever heard anyone try and push too much, anyway, their particular spiritual path or their religion or whatever. I have never, not in all the years I've been here, heard that. And I think that's because when we come here, we absorb that knowledge. Like we hold that knowledge as a group. It is a spiritual program, not a religious program, So I was first introduced to a bit of prayer, as Dave's probably heard many times before, because in a treatment centre when my counsellor said to me, have you tried prayer? And that was the first time I really, since I was a child, had prayed. And I got on my knees and I prayed, and I felt some comfort, some measure of comfort. I was detoxing. I felt very ill, and I felt my dad was with me that night for some reason. I don't know why. And I slept a bit, which was first, and so that gave me faith that didn't know what God was, but it gave me faith that through prayer I could gain some comfort. And when I listened to other people about their journeys, I sit and listen, they all contained this very important prayer and meditation. Throughout my recovery, I got on my knees every night, every morning for a long, long time, for years and years and years, and my knees ain't what they were. I can't get up now. But for a long, long time, that's what I did. And I just said, to me, I just said the Lord's Prayer and the Serenity Prayer and the third step prayer. It was a ritual. I didn't know if I was doing it right, but I felt like I was doing it right. I just read the Just for Today, and I felt like that morning then I centred myself within our programme and within a spiritual... start the day off with a spiritual goal, really. And, because I was completely disconnected from anything spiritual during my using. Drugs were not good. They were what I prayed for. If I prayed for anything, I prayed to have more drugs. There was never enough drugs. It doesn't matter how much I had, there was never enough. So as soon as I got some, I was thinking about when these would run out, when I could get more, how I could not suffer withdrawal symptoms. It was just a constant talking in my head. So, to replace that with, my spirit was dead, really. It must have been a little bit alive, because obviously I'm sitting here today. And I think when I went to that treatment centre, I felt the hope, and I felt a little bit of spirit inside me saying, no, this is a chance. I felt really powerfully that it was, whether it's true or not, I don't know, because luckily for me, I never relapsed, but I felt I'm never going to get this opportunity again. I'm never going to get it again. I'm not going to pick up again, And so when I come out, I started coming to meetings, and I think my spirit was awoken by the people in the rooms, by the kindness of the people who'd gone before me, by their efforts. I was so impressed with the fact that they was coming back, that they was clean, that they was laughing, that they was having fellowship, that there seemed to be some sort of love in the room, and I hadn't experienced that for a long time. Obviously in the time I've been clean, I've experienced life, death, loss, grief, all those things. And I think when my mum was dying a few years ago, she was dying of dementia, so it was a long, drawn-out process. And I kept coming in the rooms, and I felt uncomfortable, kept sharing about it, and I probably shouldn't have. I would not think of anyone else who was sharing that. I would think that's, but what we're like, you know what I mean? And, but I was doing my Step 11 at the time, and I went to a church, and I found it very peaceful there. I didn't have to say who I was or why I was there, but I found it very powerful to just pray with other people, and I felt that connection, and I felt carried through that period by the God of my understanding, and I'm very thankful to it. And it says in Step 11, we should be exploring. If you come in with a faith, that's one thing, a definite religion or faith, that's one thing. But if you haven't, is to explore religions and other things. And I've done this, I think they talk about God, talking to God through prayer, not really asking for anything, for yourself, just for God's will to be carried out. That's not always easy. Sometimes something seems so important, that we really want it. Just a little prayer, maybe I'll get it. And it doesn't, in my experience, that doesn't usually work out, but what does work out is that I've still had that connection. Meditation is listening to God. Now that's a whole new ball game, I think, for me. In this world where we're just bombarded with televisions, telephones, iPads, gaming. Everywhere you are and everywhere you do, you're electronically, your head's filled up. And I think not just us as addicts, but everyone find time to have that. Just sit in silence is not an easy thing. I didn't find it an easy thing to do. I have and find this quite powerful. Is just to sit in a dark room with a candle and just concentrate on the candle and your breath. I've had times in my recovery when I've been able to do that, and I've had times in my recovery when I haven't been able to do that. When I'm able to do that, my life just gets better. That stillness, that stillness and that soft voice is allowed to speak to you. Not that voice going, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, what about them, what about this, I haven't done that, I need to do this. It's listening to that soft voice, just saying it's okay, it's going to be all right, you know. And sometimes I feel like that is the voice of God, you know. It's that gentleness. It's a lifelong practice, I think. It's a lifelong practice. Some people I know, there are people in this, you know, world who are able to do that easily. For me, it's not easy, because I've got an addict mind that's, you know, so I start doing it and I think about what I'm going to have for my dinner. You know, it's not always easy. But I truly try to practice it, and this is all this is us, is that we try, that we really try our best just to follow the suggestions and what other people have done. You know, there's a whole world out there of other stuff we can visit for other things, you know, but if you're an addict, if you couldn't stop using, if you've got to a place where you never ever want to be again, then the steps and traditions and the whole fellowship of NA is the place where we need to be, you know. And in NA, God talks through people. You just have to listen sometimes, you know. And I've experienced that quite a lot. I've asked someone something, and all of a sudden, like, it's just a simple phrase, and sometimes just a simple phrase will come back to me for years in certain situations where I need a bit of enlightenment. You know, I'm very apt to act on, because of my ego and my pride at work and on the roads and doing this and that. I'm very apt to react and not respond, you know. And I think, you know, to have a conscious contact, you just have to step back and maybe say the Serenity Prayer, or maybe just take a deep breath and just close your eyes and just think, you know what I mean, what is the best thing here to do? What is the kindest thing here to do? You know, for me and others. And, you know, sometimes when I've seen people relapse, they may come in and look the same, and they may come in and sound the same, but that contact is broke. Immediately you take drugs and you put, for me, you know, immediately you put, that contact, that pure sort of contact is broken. You know, I think for addicts we need to be absolutely clear to hear that. I'm not an anti-medication person by any means. You know, if you need medication for your illness, that's another thing. But mood altering drugs, for an addict, is poison. You know, I think we all know that. Yeah, step 11 is a beautiful step. The last 3 steps for me, 10, 11, 12, they are a gift. They're the gift that keeps on giving. I didn't want to say that, but no, they are a gift, and because they're how I'm going to live my life from now on. You know, by looking at my behaviour, by seeing if I've done the things I should have done, by making amends to people if I've made mistakes, which I do often, and have to apologise, and to continue with my conscious contact and then on to, you know, step 12, which I know we're not doing, but we have to give this away. We have to give this away, and it's just been it's just been amazing the way the fellowship is growing. It's with all our different personalities, with all our different ways of we life, with all the way we are consciously in contact with God of our understanding. It's just growing and growing, And despite all our personalities who want to do it our own way, we give that away, and thank God that there was people who come before me who took the time and the love and the patience to show me, and also not only the people who went before me, but the people who come after me, and they show me just as much love and care and new ideas and new ways of doing things, and I've never got bored with this fellowship. I've got angry with it. I've got I'm not going to go anymore, and I've got but at my heart I love this fellowship. I love what it does for people. I love seeing how people come in and that their lives are transformed, and that is the reality. Their lives are transformed. If you don't pick up a day at a time, your life is transformed, and for that I am eternally grateful, and I'll leave it there. Thanks, Dave.